Hey everyone, I'm DC, also known as the Cryptolorian, and this is Well FM's Makersplace X Well show. In this show, we talk about anything and everything art and crypto and the NFT space with designers and creators alike, otherwise known as non-fungible tokens. Today, we have guests. We have a few guests. So we have Ed Zipko from Superchief Gallery NFT. We have Ron English, and we have Josh Kimberg from Clutter Gallery as well. So welcome, folks. Let's start the interview off by telling us about yourselves.
Sure thing. No, thanks for having us. My name is Ed Zipko. I'm the director and co-founder of Superchief Gallery NFT. We are the world's first physical NFT gallery space. We opened up in March. We beat Shanghai by 1 day. And we're really, really proud to be bringing the community together and hosting Ron English and his NFT drop tomorrow in New York City.
So you accounted for the time difference in the being able to be the first.
Exactly.
Okay, just making sure.
Yes.
I'll run that by legal.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So we got this amazing NFT gallery in New York City, right? And we have this amazing artist, Ron. Ron, tell us about yourself.
I'm an artist first. Some other stuff that I can't talk about in public, but I've been sort of involved with art since the 70s. So I've been lucky enough to be a part of pop surrealism. I was one of the first pop surrealists. I was one of the first street artists, and I got to be one of the first NFT artists. So I started releasing stuff the beginning of this year.
Aren't you also a felon?
Yeah, felon. I have over 1,000 felonies I'm very proud of.
Oh, that's fantastic.
There's also a thing called the statute of limitations, so I'm okay. I can talk about it now.
All right.
No, I actually, in the early 80s, I kind of fell in love with billboards, and I just wanted my art to be on billboards all over the country, and I wasn't big on asking permission, but I was big on painting them. So, which is it's sort of, that's how people originally came to know me, was through doing these illegal billboards.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so did well, okay, we'll get into that. But Josh, tell us about yourself.
So my name is Josh Kimberg. Me and my wife, Miranda O'Brien, have been operating and running the Clutter Gallery for almost 20 years. We create designer toys, and we work with artists all over the world that we display and sell through our space here. And we also run the Designer Toy Awards, which is the global honors for the designer toy industry. And we also have a designer toy festival that we run in Brooklyn once a year called 5 Points Festival. So we're part of the global underground designer toy movement.
And how was it that we actually met? I was trying to figure that out today.
I remember exactly, we met at New York Comic Con.
New York Comic Con.
About 10 or 11 years ago.
But that's before you moved up here, right?
You were already up here, and then you invited us.
Oh, by the way, we're in Beacon, this town that's kind of gone insane in the last few years. Maybe
try to make it B.
Beacon. Our town kicked off with the introduction of the museum, the DIA here, and then followed by artists and galleries and rock stars and rap stars, and so now it's just an insane town that everybody wants to go to. I think
in 2001, these were all crack houses. Now galleries.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know what's the difference between this stuff on the wall behind us and crack, because I've never been addicted to crack, but I imagine being addicted to the toys is about the same.
These are hard to smoke.
Yeah, well, I guess they're not bad for your health, but they are addictive, and I don't know. Not only am I a maker, I'm a collector, and I have some really, really cool stuff. So. But anyway, we're here to talk about NFTs, right?
Yeah, we're here to talk about NFTs, but let's talk about. So you said Beacon, right?
Yeah, we like to promote our town.
Yeah, where is that? Tell us about where that is.
We're about an hour and 20.
We're an hour and 20 minutes from Manhattan. Actually, there's a train that leaves Manhattan at 5 o'clock that'll get you here in 40 minutes because it only goes to Beacon, so it's quite amazing. And they let you drink on the train, which so after one beer, you're here.
Okay, now did the train go to Beacon directly from Manhattan before or after the switch?
Yeah, we're the last stop. The last stop I believe is Poughkeepsie, right? Or yeah. No, but it's yeah.
I've never gone above.
It's always come here, and that's one of the reasons that they wanted to do the D here. They bought the old Nabisco factory, huge, beautiful space for $1, because they had to do something to turn this town around, and that seemed to be the thing to do.
Man, you're piquing my interest. I'm actually I'm on the East Coast as well. I'm in Vermont, a little bit above you, but that sounds like fun. I might actually take a trip down there.
You should come down and we can smoke crack.
Yeah, I mean that's right.
Well, you know, we kind of gentrified out all the crack dealers, which is I have a little bit of a problem with. But you know, other than that, everything worked out perfectly.
Perfect. So how did you two get in touch with Zipco, right? How did you get connected there?
Well, in my case, we were working together with Mana, who's a developer who took over a neighborhood in Florida and then used art to kind of pump up the neighborhood. So they gave me a space down for Art Basel. Not last year, nobody went down last year, but the year before last, where we were allowed to have a pop-up gallery and to do a huge mural on the side of the building and to have our own brand of beer there and everything. And
it was gorgeous.
Kind of well, when I first met him, he reminded me of me when I was his age, because I was a party promoter and I threw huge parties and warehouse parties and did all kinds of crazy stuff. And I thought, hey, look, a young version of me.
That's nice. Yeah, man.
I had handsome back then too, by the way. Yeah.
It's I think that whole week was nuts because they gave us basically Mana owns 60% of Wynwood in Miami. Mm-hmm. So they gave us we did 47 murals that year with, I think there was across maybe 5 blocks. Mm-hmm. Of different large scale 300-foot wide crazy murals with just international artists that we love.
It was like the Woodstock of art. Yeah,
it ruled. It was it was really, really cool to get
and speaking of crack,
yes, go on.
I always like to bring everything back to crack, but I originally knew Amanda because I was an art mover in the 80s, and we used to go to this place called Jersey City. Because we were in Manhattan, so we would drive big John Chamberlain sculptures and stuff out to this warehouse in Jersey City that was on the street called Communipaw, which was dangerous as all hell. And guys sitting in front of this warehouse just doing crack, and we're bringing $50 million sculptures into this warehouse. And I'm like, I don't understand. What the fuck? There's no security here. How come these guys don't steal this sculpture? And my boss says they don't know what it is. If it was $20 radios, they would break in and steal them, but they don't know who John Chamberlain is. But no, Amanda was very smart, and he had a big moving company, and he figured out you get more money for moving art, so he moved into the art moving business.
It's pretty slick.
Yeah, amazing guy.
So that year we did giant warehouse parties for Basel. We were given 25,000 square feet of warehouses to make giant art installations and throw big parties. And Ron did a really, really cool mural on the corner that kind of became a landmark for everybody to know where the hell everything was. And that ruled. It was cool to be able to help out on something like that.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, it was there was so much going on that there was no way you could experience everything. It just wasn't.
No. Yeah, the wave was huge. Yep, and that's how we met. That's how we really got together.
A lot of people very happy.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool.
The pandemic came and ruined everything.
Yeah, it certainly did. So speaking of everything in the pandemic. So you created this this NFT gallery, first of its kind. New York. I'm just going to put it up here for those who like to look at maps and whatnot. But you're in Brooklyn, New York. I've walked around Brooklyn a few times. And tell us a little bit about the gallery and what your goal is and how, describe it. I mean, tell us all about it.
Yeah, man. Well, we started in 2012. I've been part of the New York art scene for 20 years now. It's really started for me when I went to Pratt. I went to Pratt Institute, which is in Brooklyn, and it kind of surrounded me with artists that I thought were brilliant. And it was really, really inspiring to get obsessed with everybody's brains. And for the first 10 years, I'd say the first 5 years, it was really just about hanging out and getting drunk with everybody. And then after about 5 years of just hanging out and getting drunk with everybody, I wanted to participate a bit. you know, and like help and do something of value. So for another 5 years, I would help on installations and take photographs and shoot video. And then after a while, I was like, I really like throwing parties, and I've been throwing giant warehouse parties in New York for like, I don't know, since 2006. So it kind of was a natural fit from throwing these parties where everybody who's there is an artist to like actually putting my shoulder behind the artist and really trying to like sell their work and do bigger than life things and support them in that way. So in 2012, we started doing warehouse art galleries where it was like, again, big immersive art shows where the community could get together and meet each other. Because I'm a little bit like, I don't know, it just didn't occur to me that everyone that I know doesn't know each other. And that was always like a shock to me because I'm obsessed with these people and their brains, and they're so weird. And I was just like, how do you not fucking know this other person that lives 3 blocks away from you that's also cool as shit? So I just kept doing art shows where I put everybody next to each other on the wall and force them to see each other's work and force them to really kind of like be exposed to the other people that are killing it in the community. And for us, it was really like, you know, it was like an inside joke to call it like the SC for Superchief is also like survivor cult. And it was just like, it broke my heart when, you know, in 2009, when the economy tanked, a lot of people stopped being artists. A lot of people that we were, you know, loving in the community went home and stopped being brilliant and started getting jobs. And I was just like, fuck that. So we went really hard to kind of like create these opportunities and bring the community together so they really know each other. And even when they blow up and they do really well, they don't feel isolated and they don't feel like there's no place for them to call home and they can't hang out with their friends anymore. It really kind of like made it so the whole scene would move with them up. And I took it as a real responsibility to like expand and push it and take chances to fucking grow. Cause it's like, you know, I really want everybody to blow up and succeed, but I don't want it to tear the community apart. I want these people to still be friends when they get paid. And by elevating everybody at the same time, it kind of created an opportunity for people to blow up and keep coming back and doing things with each other. So after a while, we kind of started doing really fucking well. And we started in Brooklyn as a warehouse, and then we got a space in the Lower East Side, and then we opened up in Soho. And it was just like, there was a point in New York where we had 3 galleries at the same time, one in Brooklyn and like in Bushwick, which was like big warehouse stuff, the back of a really fun dive bar called Tender Trap in Greenpoint, where we could like do rowdy shit in the back of this bar. And then also at the same time, having a digital art gallery in Soho that was like wall-to-wall smart TVs in 2015, way before you could sell digital art, but just like pushing that content and that artwork and that expression like it's valid, even though I couldn't sell it. Because it's like, what a bullshit reason not to show stuff that's cool just because you can't commercially like win off of it. So we made a lot of relationships then and there to like support artists that really had the technical skill and that kind of like access to movie magic that they used to call it like 8 years ago, and like make it so they actually got known for and blew up for their vision and how weird their brains are, instead of just that they're really good at making like CGI. And it made it so they didn't get hired for, you know, when they got hired for commercials or music videos and that kind of stuff, they were hired because their brains were weird and they were like hired to do their weird shit. And I think that made it so they're doing videos for Travis Scott and like giant, you know, the videos for like the back of the MTV Music Awards and stuff like that. And they got known for who they are instead of just what like their technical hands can do. And it made us like, you know, really build strong relationships with those artists. And then also we opened up in LA and we opened up in Miami, because those are the 3 cities in America that I felt really were like the beginning of us trying to like unite the underground, which is basically what we're about. We really want to take the best and brightest from these communities, reinforce them, support them, and then basically unite all these people that aren't like, you know, bought and sold already, and make it so they're a lot stronger.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that mission. And yeah, I do understand when you say that the digital art world has been there's been a bit of controversy because a lot of folks they didn't really feel like it was art, in a sense. They felt it was digital. And now with this NFT scene, it's like, hey, we're here and we're kicking ass, and and all of you want to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So either get on the train or, get left behind, because this is the future, right?
Dude, it's like that, and artist royalties. It's a complete game changer. It's a complete, we dove in hardcore because I didn't want it to die in the crib. I didn't want people to not take it seriously. I wanted to bring artists that are like museum level artists and artists that are famous in these other scenes, and also digital native artists, and put them next to museum caliber artists. Because if we can cross legitimize this shit, it'll make it a couple years. It'll make it that amount of money that the rest of the world needs to see so it could be real forever. And Ron jumped in fast and killed it. It was awesome to see Ron be an early adopter, because that's how you win at this shit, is adopt early, define your path with it, and then build your audience. And Ron fucking did it.
Yeah, and so that's a great segue. Ron, how do you feel about the NFTs?
But you also have to understand. For me, it created a space where I could use all my disciplines, because I do a lot of music stuff, and I do different things, and I even grew up making movies, and I've never been able to put all these different skill sets or practices together into one piece until now. So it was perfect for me. And you know what I mean?
If you click on that top left one, you can see Ron's videos in.
Apologies. The evilness of Instagram and not logging in.
Yep. So we just I can explain what it was. We have a really awesome partnership with Neo Shibuya TV out in Tokyo, and basically we put Ron's NFTs, we premiered them on these giant digital billboards all over Tokyo, all over Shibuya. So Ron is 150 feet tall right now, hardcore in Tokyo.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I have logged in, and here we are.
Good. Yeah. So you can start to see a couple of the different ones, and there's Big Boy.
Yeah, I love these huge screens. These are so badass. I love seeing them, and I love seeing NFTs on them.
Yeah, it's really about these are the new music videos, man. You remember when people all freaked out to see music videos, and it was because they had budgets to make art. That was the whole situation, is people want to see new shit they haven't seen before. And NFTs are that new wave where it's oh my God, I want to see it. I can't wait to see what new, something I haven't seen before. And that's that's the cool thing about what Ron did, is he took something that's very iconic, from the Daniel Johnston estate and the history of Daniel Johnston and their relationship, and worked with Josh at Clutter to make this 3D thing, and it's awesome. They killed it.
Well, I met Daniel, and in case you don't know who Daniel is, he's considered to be the Vincent van Gogh of music, and so he's been a very historic figure, throughout his life for that. And he died a couple years ago, but since then, his estate and a lot of other people have been also trying to make people understand that his art had the exact same relevance as his music. And I think he started off as an artist, and then the music kind of came a little bit later. So he never let go of the art. And I think that a lot of people from his tribe are trying to make people understand that his art was just as meaningful as his music. It's his art's a bit different, and it's kind of these weird rambling statements that are coming from his mind. And so it's a kind of art, very personal, that only this one human could make. But I've had a relationship with him since the early 80s. And what happened was he was in Austin, and he would stand on Guadalupe Street and hand out tapes of his music. And at that time, he didn't know how to do tapes, so he had to actually record the whole album over and over again, and then hand draw the cover. But mostly he would give them to cute girls.
I want one of those tapes.
Yeah, mostly he would give. I have them. But mostly he would give them to cute girls. And so one of the cute girls he gave them to was with my sister, and they kind of became very, very good friends. And then my sister said, "I want to learn how to paint." And so I would use the studios at the art building at night to paint. So I brought her up there, and then she's like, "Painting's boring." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's boring. It takes a long time." "Yeah, but what if people came read us poetry and played us music and stuff? Would it be more interesting?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think people are going to come read us poetry and play like symphonies for us, you know." But she was cute enough that actually they would. And so one of the regulars that would come and play while we painted would serenade us was Daniel, and I think he was probably more serenading her than me, you know. And first,
you're still sexy, Ron.
Yeah. At first, it was interesting. My sister didn't want me to have anything to do with him because she was scared for him. She goes, "He's a very fragile artist, and you're insane. You're fucking insane. You run around climbing on billboards, committing felonies. You're going to have him on a billboard, and he's too fragile, and he does not. You never need to meet this guy." And I said, "Yeah, come on, I want to meet him." You know, she goes, "No, you should never meet him." So at first, she actually wouldn't introduce me to him. And so the first time I actually met him is we were walking down Guadalupe with a crowd of people going to get pizza, and then we ran into him, and she's like, "Oh fuck, he's gonna meet him." And I say, "We're going to get pizza. Come with us," you know. And so he was handing out tapes just like he does, and then he came with us, and we kind of fell behind the crowd and started talking about our characters and our worlds that we had created, and then ever since then we were friends, and we figured out that we could, take our characters and have them exist in worlds together, and we could also work together on music to help kind of elevate our artistic creations. So there's something about us that just work together,
You found this never before heard song.
But this particular piece happened because I made a lot of music over the years with him, but there was evidently once he came to my house, and a lot of times he would, be on tour. He would stay at our house for a month and stuff and go do concerts, or we'd help him go do concerts or go comic book shopping or whatever. And sometimes we'd, very earnestly make music. But I think the last time he came, we weren't really that interested in making music, or he was doing something else. And I had forgot that there was this weird musician guy, Earl Norman, that was living with us for about a year at the time because he was homeless. And so the three of us recorded this song together. It was like, I think I wrote the song, but I had completely forgotten about it. And I think because it was Daniel Johnston Day, and then Earl called me up and said, we recorded the song, and and Steve Calhoun played the drums on it, and I don't know if you remember that or not, and I didn't. And so he sent me the song, and it was kind of weird because I thought, wow, it's almost like Daniel's going, here's one more song for you, Ron, do something with it. And
cool.
So I thought, well, there's this new NFT thing. And also I kind of wanted to bring his family into the NFT thing because, his sister and his brother and before his dad and mother had dedicated their lives to taking care of him and making sure that everything worked out and that his career worked out. And they were all his facilitators. They bought him a house, they got him a maid because he doesn't clean up or whatever. And they had given up their careers to do this. So I thought, now that he's kind of gone, this would be a great way then to further exploit his work and get rewarded for all the years they put in, making sure that he existed. You know what I mean? I don't know. It seemed like a magical thing was happening. It's the song, the fact that Josh was doing the toys because the family wanted to do toys, and so I said, well, you got to go to Josh if you want to make great toys. So but it's just everything came together. Like I don't know. It just seemed like a weird magical moment that just had to happen.
Awesome.
Man, that's a crazy story. I loved hearing that. It just, the next question is really for Josh. I mean, how do you make these toys, and tell us a little bit more about that process.
First of all, it was wonderful that Ron introduced us to the Johnston family, and it's really been a pleasure working with them. And we have a bunch of cool toys in the works with them. The Jeremiah frog is probably the most iconic drawing that Daniel has ever done. It was the album cover for the Hi, How Are You? And of course, it was completely popularized globally by Kurt Cobain wearing a "Hi, how are you" Frog T-shirt, or Jeremiah Frog T-shirt too. Maybe it was the Emmys.
Oh, he worked all the time.
He worked not the Emmys, the Grammys.
But he actually worked at tons of events.
Yeah, because he was so influenced by Daniel.
He loved Daniel. Yeah.
So there was a version of the Jeremiah Frog made as a toy about 10 years ago. And so we were kind of looking at that toy and brainstorming about how you could sort of elevate that original design and take it to a new place. And I kind of had this vision of doing something more elegant with the frog. And so I conceived of this idea of this sort of like arching bubble and leaf, which are iconography from Daniel. It's the leaf of hope. And then we figured out, that putting the "Hi, how are you" on a word bubble or a thought bubble was a nice way of like interjecting this voice into the toy concept. And so the toy hasn't actually come out on the market yet. Mm-hmm. We're still, obviously everyone knows that everything backed up in China. COVID /
they have no idea. We're in a trade war, people. It's like it's
not just that. It's I mean, the more that we work with our Chinese counterparts, the more that we learn about their lives, what's going on over there, and it's very, very difficult. And they don't have the capacity that they had 2 years ago before everything went on lockdown. So everyone's just sort of not necessarily holding their breath, but we're all like in this place where we've created this toy, it's coming out. And so it's a little awkward, but Ron saw the 3D that we created and engineered for this new piece with the Daniel Johnston estate. And he said, "Hey man, let's put the GRIN on Jeremiah," which of course makes perfect sense. And from the Johnston family perspective, of course, that makes sense. So everybody was in on it. So the natural progression at this point was like, well, let's just do it digitally till things start to move again on a vinyl side. Is there going to be a Jeremiah GRIN with Ron English? Wait and see.
Oh man, that's awesome.
But definitely what's coming out first, what everyone will see first with this style of toy that we've created with Jeremiah sitting on the stump with the leaf and the word bubble, will be a more traditional version of
So
Jeremiah.
I made the weird surreal background. I created the background.
Right.
And then the second version, I drew the way we used to draw together. He really didn't paint that much, so we spent hours and hours making weird drawings together. So that one's supposed to be more reminiscent of the way we actually did work together in art.
Yeah.
Super.
Man. Yeah, it is very cool. So let's talk about the piece. Let's talk about the drop. So we have a drop coming up.
Yes, not to interrupt you, but the one song is the Daniel song, and then I have a band called the Rabbits. That's with 3 Bs, and it's really hard to get to them because
why stop it too.
But so we actually got together, and for the second piece, we wrote a tribute song for Daniel.
So each NFT has a backing track, basically.
Yeah. And that's the only place it exists is with the.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So describe everything, because we got a lot going on here. So yeah, describe it. Tell us all about this drop.
You got it. So it's happening tomorrow. I believe it drops at. We can scroll up a little higher. There's a countdown clock. Maybe it's lower.
Let's look.
Maybe it's lower. We'll see.
There we go.
So in 22 hours and 48 minutes, this thing drops. So we're talking about, I believe that's 6 p.m. 6 p.m. or 6:30 p.m. on Friday at Makerspace. We will be dropping, let's see, each one of these will be a one-of-one auction. And then we have a variant that is in sepia of the 3D one. And that one, I believe, will be, I believe that was an edition of 10.
Yes.
If I remember correctly. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate you. Thank you, Josh. Yeah. So then they're going to be up for a 24-hour auction for each of the one-of-ones. And that'll be Ron's first drop with Makerspace. So this is his Makerspace Genesis piece.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's fantastic.
Very excited. Very hyped. And we're going to be doing an IRL, like an in-person release at the gallery, where you'll be able to see all of these things on all of our walls. We've got these really cool, thin digital canvases from a company called Whim. And Whim has been wonderful with working with us. This is like, they're 4K. They are really good to like film with your phone, which is nice. Like regular TVs kind of give that glow and it kind of obscures everything. But Ron's content looks like crystal clear. And that's awesome. We've got 4K projectors that we're putting them up. And we've got free beer.
Nice.
So from 6 to 9.
Free beer, Ed.
I know. Yeah.
Well,
I can say it though.
Okay.
I can do whatever I want.
Ron, damn it.
You had me at free beer, but okay. So let's put all this together because this is great. I'm kind of discovering this with all of you for the first time. Like I told you before, I actually took this video for a friend of ours, or this interview for a friend of ours, and so I'm coming in a little bit blind, but it's really cool.
I have no idea what's going on.
I know, it's like, what the hell? But the thing is, I've enjoyed myself quite a bit. So I what I'm understanding is we have this amazing gallery in New York that is Superchief Gallery that is going to be displaying this stuff on really high quality displays, right? And that's amazing. Like, and then you're going to have this gallery go live, I guess, and with free beer, whatnot, and then you're going to have this drop on Makersplace, which also so there's different versions of it, but there's also a connection to the physical item. So I really would like a description of the piece and how that connection to the physical item is going to be maybe in the future, or is there a connection, or is it going to be separate? Tell us a little bit about those two things.
Well, since it's a one of one, I think we're talking about secretly having there be a surprise later.
Okay.
For the owner of that. We like to give rewards to our community long term. So when people hold things that they purchase from us and from our community, we really like to keep engaging that community and keep rewarding them, giving them access to things that other people don't get up to be aware of, and really kind of like leaning into that, because this is all about community building.
All right, and so it's a little bit of alpha there for everybody, but that's awesome. But so the different pieces have different styles, and you were saying, Ron, that you did a lot of the background painting.
Yeah.
The one Josh created, I built a set for Jeremiah to be in.
Ron, talk about your sets, man, because I got to tour your studio when you had me at your house, and that blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Those are incredible.
Weird spaces,
yeah. You make it real.
If you haven't seen, the way Ron works, he creates these 8-foot by 5-foot giant dioramas in his, or bigger. Just gigantic, kind of mind-bogglingly detailed dioramas.
My paintings are photorealistic paintings of sets.
Right, and so Ron builds the sets, and then he photographs the set, and then paints the photograph.
Yeah, what you're looking at now, some other NFTs I've done. Yeah,
that's got to be. I have to take a second and just say it out loud. When Ron says that he paints photorealistic, it needs to be emphasized, because
right.
Fucking I can't believe he takes a photograph and then paints it, and I really truly he gave me a book when I left, and I was like flipping through the book on my way home, and I stopped everything and called him, and I was like, is it a misprint on this page, because the hairs coming off of this werewolf mask, that's a photo, that's a fucking photo. And he's like, nah, you're an idiot. And I was like, okay.
You're an idiot.
Okay. I was like, well, this hurts a lot, but okay.
No, but it's like when we're actually putting books together and doing things, sometimes we have to look at the image and make sure that we're not showing the set, that we're actually showing the painting. We have to blow it up and look for the brush strokes. So
yeah. It's like nothing I've ever seen. And it's, it's
the one you're looking at now I did with Slash. So we did
dig it.
One one where he gave me a riff and then I built it into a weird loop. And then this one, I wrote a song. I gave him a character in Delusionville. So if you become my friend, you get to be a character in Delusionville. So that's his character. It's called Riff Riff. And then I had Riff Riff do a song, and then Slash did the guitar on the song. So
That's so awesome.
So I got to make 2 songs with Slash. So
Yeah.
Oh, that is so.
I'm like the biggest fanboy in the world, but it's like every time I like fall in love with some artist, I end up getting to do something with them, you know? So
Awesome.
Man, that's awesome. So I understand photorealism. My wife is a photorealism colored pencil artist. So tell me the mediums you use. So you're designing the sets and you're designing them with like models, or you know?
I'm building models for these sets, and what I'm doing with these is I'm building the set, and then I'm animating the figure.
Oh, that's awesome.
The set. So if you went and saw the set, the figure wouldn't be there.
Gotcha. And so the figurine is it what do you use to create it, I guess?
Well, normally I sculpt with just all different kinds of stuff.
Spaghetti,
yeah. Well, you can mold spaghetti when it's wet and then let it dry, and then you coat it with acrylic, and there's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I try to make everything in the set. Well, I try to make everything, like every plant is unique, and I also try to make some things exist organically, but they're still art, and then they're reproduced again, like when they go onto the canvas. But yeah, I try to be every kind of artist that ever existed at once, if that makes sense.
Like when if you ever get the opportunity to visit Ron's studio, see that he's kit bashing on sort of like a macro scale.
Yeah.
So Ron has tubs and bins and boxes of pieces of all sorts of different characters and objects from all over the world, and all over the universe, of things that you can acquire, and you're
some of that, yeah. And I'd say 90% sculpted,
and then sculpting on top of that. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And so to kind of put this together, so you're doing the set design. We have a physical toy piece involved here. We have art from Daniel, right, and a song from Daniel as well.
An original song from Daniel, and then a tribute song I did with my band for Daniel.
Man, that's
Rose
cool.
Pascal was the singer. She's actually a little girl. So I know Daniel used to do a lot of stuff like with this little girl back in Austin, and so I kind of wanted to recreate that. And Rowan has. I met her when she was a little kid, but I met her mother. Her mother was an opera singer, and she has one of the most amazing voices maybe in the history of planet Earth. It's crazy. But in my project called The Rabbit, she plays the comrade.
Man, we could talk about that for a while. So you got this project and all kinds of stuff. I mean,
can I ask, and this is
why the NFT thing is so perfect for me, because for all these years I've been creating music, but how's the music fit with a painting? Do you know what I mean? And I was making animations like when I was in high school. But how does an animation and a painting go together? I mean, how do I bring all these disciplines together and get to do everything that I do in one piece? Do you know what I mean? So you wonder why I jumped on it. Like, it's because I've been waiting for this my whole life,
So cool.
Wow. Yeah, this medium feels like it's just made for you, to be honest. I think that's pretty cool. We do have a few questions from our community.
I don't know if you guys ever talk about what you think is happening or what you think is going to happen with all this, because basically we're talking about something that's not even. I mean, it's a few years old, but it's ostensibly less than a year old.
Yeah,
totally.
I bet you nobody watching this was really into NFTs last Christmas. You know what I mean?
I was.
Yeah.
So everything kind of came up really, really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
But imagine, like, as an artist, if a brand new art form, came to life in your lifetime, and you got to be a part of it. Isn't that kind of the fantasy? So you're Edison, or you get to be there right at the beginning, and nobody can go back to the beginning and recreate the beginning again. So whatever happens in this year is just historically important, Even if it's shit this year, it's historically important shit. It is,
It's a fact.
No, you're 100% right. This is the renaissance right now for us. I mean, this is it. I mean, I think about when I used to make websites back in the late 2000s, early even the 90s. I made some websites, did graphic art and stuff, and I never thought that any of the artwork that I was doing would ever be worth anything, because the whole JPEG right click crap. But you think about, this is the renaissance now, and I do agree with you. Like, last year was definitely a defining moment for NFTs and NFT art, and yeah, we're at the beginning stages. So yeah, I'm 100%. I'm super hyped, and I think that this is only the beginning, and where this comes. If you want to talk about that for a few minutes, I'd be happy to, because I have a lot to say.
I have a really good friend, Carla McCormick, who always said, never predict things because they'll never come true.
Yeah, okay, maybe we don't.
But I don't listen to anybody. But no, okay, here's my prediction, and we'll play it back in 4 years. But
all right, do it.
What's already happening, like I think it's going to break into categories. So I think like what Ed Zipko's doing with the big screens, that stuff is going to museums. And when you do a one-of-one, that's going to be a museum. So I predict in either the Whitney or the Met or one of these giant museums will have an NFT show within the next 4 years. As a matter of fact, they'll probably get all their screens free from Sony, because they're making special screens just for NFTs.
Yep.
And it's kind of like you get these one-of-ones of a famous artist, but this is the first time I've ever seen one in a gallery and got to experience it that way. And so, yeah, we're at the very beginning. So there'll be that. So that's why, like, the ones that have bought my one-of-ones and stuff, nobody's flipped them, because they want their piece in a museum. They want to be a part of that. But then it also kind of translates all the way down to collectibles. So like the Vivi is just fucking genius about, like, they're making things like a physical object that you can take around on your phone and stuff. And they're bigger editions than one-of-one. Some are like 5,000, but they partnered with DC and Marvel, and maybe they're going to end up partnering with Pokemon, but all the big brands. So like with them, I made it's like I make the toys with them, and I make the paintings with Ed. So I mean, I have paintings, I have toys in real life, and it's kind of the same thing. And I think all the way down to trading cards and stuff, because imagine if you still had your trading cards from high school, you momped them away. Well, your mom can't throw your NFTs away, so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Have you ever went to the bathroom, come back, and your friends have your baseball cards out, and they're like, "Yeah, let's flip these to the bicycle."
No, you're 100%. And then the galleries that are here first. So, Zipco, you're really innovating in the space, and they're these big galleries are looking at you and saying, what am I doing wrong? I mean, this is the time to get in. They're probably saying, I need to get these screens, I need to have these events.
It's been unbelievable, just watching the stratospheric situation of, I mean, we worked really, really hard to be lucky enough to be the first one in the world, and the situations that have happened since then is like, I mean, we were having conversations with Frank Gehry's people about releasing his NFTs, and then Gagosian stole him from us. And it's like, the fact that Gagosian knows who the fuck I am is like crazy to me.
He knows who everybody is.
Yeah, that's a good businessman. But the fact that he had to be upset about me is another thing. It was really good to see that happen. It was also, the fact that we're working with Christie's, the fact that we, had an artist that was trying to decide if it was going to go with us or Sotheby's. And, we've been working with underground artists for the last decade. We've been friends with them for the decade before that. And we were on Fox News, and they're saying this is the future of art. It's like, that's not the demographic that typically supports underground artists, but they can't deny that, like, this is the tip of the spear, and these are museum grade artists, whether they like it or not. And this is the future of art. And it's unbelievable to be in the position as, like, we're big, we're in 3 big cities, and we do stuff in Tokyo and other countries, and it's awesome. But I did not expect us to be at where we're at for another 10 years. And for us to get a jump this far ahead just because we really, really gave a shit and we're trying to do it with best practices, and we're trying to really support these people, it's like, it's a fucking dream, man. I'm working 14 hours a day on it because this is what feels right.
And yeah, I love it. I love every minute, because this is the future. I mean, no matter how you look at it, like you said, baseball cards or NBA Top Shots,
Man.
everything's coming here.
And also the way you experience them, because if you think about, if you put a painting on one wall and a TV on the other wall at your house, everybody will look at the TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's interlit. The lighting and the colors are perfect because it's lit from the inside. Yeah, you can spend like 5 hours trying to light. I'm not disparaging paintings, but to make the lighting perfect, and then automatically the screen lights it perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. And you could take these NFTs anywhere you want. I mean, it's not like you don't have to have someone come over your house and look at the painting on the wall with the bad lighting, and you actually can take them where you want, and also you can show your friends. Also, you can okay, I don't know if you ever throw parties and you hang some art and you think everybody's going to be really impressed, and maybe they're not, or maybe they get bored with it. But you feel like, well, yeah, I don't really like Banksy, and it's like, I like D-Face, or I like Martin Becca, and I'm like, oh fuck, I got to write my Martin Becca's, But it's like, I'm not gonna run to the studio and get paintings and bring them back in the middle of a party and try to impress this person. But if you have NFTs, you can say, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you that collection now.
Check this out.
I don't know if you remember. I get to. I think I have a kind of very long view of stuff because I'm older. So I remember, when you had to have a record and you put the record on, the record, ended, and then sometimes people were too stoned to get up and change it, and you're kick, but and then suddenly you realize like what a magical thing the iPod was, because you guys you could put together a playlist that's you don't even need a DJ. They're gonna take care of the whole night for you. Mm-hmm. And imagine being able to do that with your art collection.
Exactly.
So you can take them through the night and maybe do something soft and subtle at the beginning of the night, and then switch to something a little more controversial and get everybody talking, and then calm them down at the end of the night. I don't know. Yeah. And if somebody just gets too drunk and says, I'll give you $500,000 for that, it's like you can sell it to them in 1 second.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's so easy to transfer these things. I mean,
it's just, and it's all transparent too. So who has what, and you can offer them, and they can say yes or no, and it's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, and I'm just going to geek out for a second, because I love that there's an audit trail, and you could see who owned this piece for the past 40 years, and how it transferred, and maybe even get the story of why they bought it, and it's just. Yeah. To me, that's insane, because you get a piece of art on the wall and you don't know where it came from. You're at a garage sale, you grab something amazing, and then you put it on your wall. You have no idea what happened with that.
Well, also, value is created by who owns something. I mean, the Mona Lisa is the Mona Lisa because Napoleon's wife owned it, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if Sylvester Stallone owns it and then he sells it to somebody else, it actually has more value because it was part of his collection.
Yeah. Provenance is king.
Yeah. Because we're inherently storytelling people,
Totally.
The more you add into the story, the more people like it.
It's so real.
Oh man, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Wow. Okay, well, man, it was amazing talking to you all. Let's talk about this drop one last time. So and then I'll let you go for the night. So take it away. Give me the whole pitch. Tell everybody about this drop, and then we'll say our goodbyes.
Who are you asking to talk right now?
Anyone. I mean,
okay. Well, for my involvement, it's like this is a once in a lifetime thing. It almost seemed like it was manna from heaven. This will be the last thing I ever do with Daniel, because he's gone, and I'll be gone soon too. And so, yeah, this was that one moment that'll never happen again. Josh?
I'm honored to be a part of it. I wish I'd gotten to meet Daniel. I've always been a fan of the music, so
totally.
Psyched to be here on the.
Well, you got to meet the family; they're wonderful, and you got to help the family, and you're part of it. You're part of history.
Yeah.
For me, it's a trip because I was raised on both of these guys. Like to see them work together is totally fucking surreal for me, and then to see this like new life of the work and the fact that it's there to like help both of these people, like their families and the whole thing, I think is incredible. The fact that the work is new somehow in this way that I grew up on this, this icon, and Ron's skull faced. And it's like just to see all of this kind of collide with a music backing, it's just really, really striking and very cool. And beyond like my impressions of it, and just for like the details of the drop, each one of them is a 1 of 1. So whoever gets it gets this incredibly scarce item. And the drop.
Can I interject one thing?
Oh, please, man.
That I don't know if the person that's going to buy it is listening now, but please make it available to museums.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, thanks. Because some people are kind of wordy and they won't like let your painting or whatever go to a big museum show, and it's not going to get damaged. It's going to go to the museum, be in the museum. It's going to come back to you unscathed, which was never possible before. So anyway, that's
oh shit! I have one last thing to mention. We're really, really excited about the fact that this is also going to be in the metaverse. We are doing a takeover with Ron of the Makerspace, Decentraland, their gallery, giant art museum in Decentraland, and Ron's work is getting featured there. I believe it's up now. So people that are fans of the metaverse can run around and go into Decentraland, go into the Makerspace compound, and run and see his work up as we speak. So it's like a way that you can see it kind of, in the metaverse, larger than life, in something that we're really excited about. We're hyped to be doing things with Decentraland. We're really proud to continue to be doing things with Makerspace. And I'm honored to be taking an icon to this that got manifested through clutter. So good on everybody. This is a really, really dope moment.
Man, that's awesome. The Decentraland. I love how it displays. I have Ron and Josh. Have you been in Decentraland before?
Only when I'm on crack.
All right.
We bring it all back. That's a profession.
Everything weekend comes back to crack.
I love it. Love it. It's classic.
You guys got to check it out. It is awesome, and it's a great way to display art. It's fantastic. The metaverse is taken over, and NFTs just make sense in there for sure.
It's huge. Such a crypto native audience, and it's really cool to get to see what's, I don't know. It's a video game, man. It's like a video game for everybody, and it's really, really cool to be having the show kind of in real life, in the metaverse. It's dope.
Yeah, I can't wait to go look at it because I was just kind of scrolling on my screen to see if I could find it. But yeah, after this, I'll go check it out. I think that's awesome. I love how art displays in there.
Yeah,
it's very unique.
You walk in and it's like, oh shit, it does. It just has that kind of, for something that is on a small screen, like it's on my laptop screen, it still feels grand. And I think they did a great job with that, with making it feel like you're walking into a fucking museum. Yeah. And you get to see Ron's work on the wall. It's really, really cool. And then you can click out and buy it. So, hey.
Even better. And I don't know if you've all experienced VR, but, putting those VR goggles and then looking at the artwork really up close and even moving it around with your hands, I think it's freaking awesome. So, yeah, and you can't do that with the physical painting. It's true. Well, I mean, this is fantastic. So tonight we got to hear from Ron English, a fantastic artist, with a very robust history. Josh Kimberg, the Clutter Gallery. Come on, you're making designer toys, and it looks like you're making that medium. You're involving that medium in art. That's awesome. And Ed Zipko from the Superchief Gallery. I mean, this is fantastic. I'm actually really honored to be able to do this interview with you all. So I really do appreciate it
so much, man. The support is really great.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I do really want to go check out your gallery in New York. So one of these days. I usually go to Brooklyn for SummerSlam, but it hasn't been in a few years. So
I'm through. Yeah,
I'll try to get down there.
Just for everybody, we're in Manhattan. We're on. This NFT gallery space is in Manhattan. It's on 11th Street between Broadway and University, 56 East 11th Street. And we're open every single day from 12 to 6. And tomorrow night for the opening, we'll be hosting the community from 6 to 9 p.m.
6 to 9. And the drop goes about 6:30. Is that right?
Correct. 6:30 is the jam.
Sweet. And there's free beer.
Damn right.
All right. No crack, though.
Not in the front room.
Okay. All right. It was a pleasure. Any parting words for our viewers?
Follow us on social media. Yeah, on Twitter, it's Superchief NFT. We're putting information and links to drops all the time. And on Instagram, it's Superchief Gallery NFT. And we'd love to see you and talk to you and all that kind of shit because we really take it seriously. We spend the time.
Nice. And Ron and Josh, where could they find you? I mean, I see I have Ron's website, so I'll link that.
Yeah, I'm propaganda.com, not propaganda.
Propaganda. Okay.
It's just Ron English.
Nice. And Josh, what about the Clutter Gallery?
Follow us at Clutter Magazine on Instagram because we were a magazine. So follow us at Clutter Magazine, and then online we are clutter.co, not .com, .co.
.co. Nice. All right. When we post this video on YouTube, we're going to have all those links. So thanks. Thanks for that.
You.
Awesome. All right, folks.
Justin, thank you both.
Absolutely. Anytime we'll have you back. I really do hope the drop goes well. I know it will. It's a fantastic piece of art, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, fellas.
Bye, everyone.
Now, where's that?